Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Zoroth Nexus. My name is Luke, and today I've got a very special build I'm very excited to show you guys, and that is Contagion. Once again, using unconventional sets to pull pretty extremely high numbers, actually scarily high numbers that I did not expect to even get when I was testing this, but here we are, and it's pretty fantastic if I'm being completely honest with you. So, this is obviously going to be a Stam DK setup. Let's just go ahead and show you what's up. So first and foremost, I made my Dark Elf here. He's an old man. Decided to name him Oldie Locks. I thought that was clever. You guys probably think I'm stupid. That's okay. But we're getting that nice 258 extra weapon damage as a Dunmer. So we got a nice flat rate of 3,312 weapon damage unbuffed and 54% weapon critical. On our Backbar, we are rocking 3,073 weapon damage and 49% weapon critical. As per usual, we're using the Shadow Stone. Pretty obvious there if you ask me. So, what sets are we running, you might ask? Well, there's actually about 3 things that you could use here, and I'll tell you which ones have actually pulled the highest for me. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about the crutch of the build, the primary set that you want to wear no matter what other sets you decide to complement it with, and that is going to be Deadly Strike. So this set is absolutely a dream for Stamina DragonKnights. Even if you were running, you could do the a form of two-handed dual wield with this and actually pull off a really sick build. That's not what we're doing here, but that extra 20% damage is extremely nice on that 5-piece, and you'll see why. But you want Deadly Strike just in all 5 on your body pieces. This obviously comes from Cyrodiil, so I understand not a lot of people want to PvP and do that. Just understand this is not actually that difficult to get. If you're able to farm up even 1,000,000 AP or so, that should be plenty to get to Bruma and buy it from the PvP vendor. So, not too difficult to get a hold of, and it pulls crazy numbers, guys, I'm telling you. So, that's going to be our body pieces here, all divines and stamina. Our monster helm is actually going to be Velidreth. We're going for that full kind of power fantasy of disease and poison damage, hence the name Contagion. You could decide to use Selene here if you wish. That's also acceptable. And of course, even more fitting would actually be Marsalok. However, I wouldn't really recommend using Marsalok unless you're in a trial and unless you know kind of how to bash in your rotation. It's really not that difficult, to be completely honest. At least not as difficult as other people make it out to seem, but just getting in a little bash from Marsalok, you could do that if you want. But for most cases, we're just going to stick with Velidreth here. Now, here we go with our other optional sets. First up to bat is the Viper's Sting. This is just an excellent set. We get 2 lines of weapon critical, a line of max stamina, and that awesome 5-piece. When you deal damage with the melee attack, which is just going to be all the time, you deal an additional 9,725 poison damage over 4 seconds. That's a very fast amount of damage in a very short amount of time. Typically what you would see is something like that's basically 10k. You would see that over 10 seconds. Instead it's happening over 4, so that damage is happening very rapidly. That's why the set is very good. I'm actually using Robust on all these traits. However, if you wanted to, you could run Infused or Bloodthirsty. As a matter of fact, that could be better. But the numbers I'm pulling, it just does not matter. It hits crazy hard. It's pointless. you could go Bloodthirsty or Infused, whatever. Robust. Obviously we're using a battle axe just to further enhance the damage that Deadly does. I actually can't 100% confirm that it does affect that. If you guys know, let me know. Regardless, stacking up of the bleed with the axe and the poison here. You were just dots on dots, man. It's kind of insane how much we're putting on enemies with very little effort. Backbar should be no surprise. We're using Master's Perfected Bow, If you don't have perfected, once again, that's completely fine. You're missing out on a little weapon damage, but it's neither here nor there. You can get away with it. Obviously infused with our weapon damage enchantment. For an alternative set that you could use here, and this one is a little bit strange, actually. I'm sure some of you are probably seeing this and thinking, you know, what the heck are you talking about? Well, it's actually sheer Venom. The difference here is you're going to have less critical. And I can actually tell you that this, in my testing, did not pull as high as Viper. However, it's still very, like, surprisingly good. And I'll get to, there's actually separate rotations for these two sets. So yeah, main set here being Deadly Strike, and you can complement it with either Viper, which is what I have pulled the highest with, or sheer Venom, if you so decide, if that, you know, fits your playstyle better. So let's go ahead and talk about skills. You know, the fun part. It's as far as skills, a pretty standard setup. Once again, I mean, it's nothing too complicated with a two-hander. We're running Noxious Breath, which gives us that major fracture, which is obviously very, very nice. Venomous Claw. And you can see these tooltips, by the way. These are pretty high. These are pretty high tooltips. We're almost a 20k dot on Venomous Claw, unbuffed, which is just kind of like, yeah, that's nuts. Wrecking Blow for our spammable. Camo Hunter, Executioner, and Flawless Dawnbreaker. Backbar, we are using Endless Hail, Consuming Trap, Poison Injection, Flames of Oblivion, Barbed Trap, and Standard of Might. So something that you can actually try here if you really, really, really want to try and push out your poison damage, you can try and slot Acid Spray here. I tried it. Personally, it's a little bit too intensive on stamina sustain, so I wouldn't recommend it for that. But if you want to, you know, slot this for trash packs or something like that, your poison damage is obviously very high, so this is going to be extremely good for that. So I would absolutely recommend this for something of that nature. If not, you could treat this as somewhat of a flex slot. You could also put Vigor here if you so choose, or you could turn it into Soul Splitting, and instead of using Acid Spray, maybe Soul Splitting would be better. It's really up to you, but personally, Consuming Trap here is what's going to yield the most for single target. So, yeah, front bar, nothing really here should change. This should all stay the same. Once again, if you're going to flex in anything, it's probably going to need to be on Consuming, but you should be able to get away with it if you're running with a good group. So, talking about rotation, specifically for the Viper set. The rotations are actually very similar, but there are slight differences. So, to begin with, you want to, well, actually, I'll go ahead and do this here. Let's just head over to the dummy. I've been, you know, setting this little house up here for testing. It's like, it gets dark, you know, got to throw up some lamps, you know, pimp it out a little bit. But anyway, you want to drink a potion first and foremost, drop your Barbed Trap, and actually lead in with a Poison Injection. And the reason that we do that is because we're using the Master's Bow, so we want to get that extra weapon damage that we get from Poison Arrow to be on the rest of our abilities. So instead of starting out with Hail of Arrows, it's going to be Barbed Trap, or actually Rearming Trap. Barbed Trap, I think, was the original name of the morph. My bad. Poison Injection. And then from here, it's really up to you. I like to go 1, 2, 4. So Hail of Arrows, Consuming Trap, and then our little, I forget what it's called, Flames of Oblivion. So once again, Rearming Trap, Poison Injection, Hail of Arrows, Consuming, Flames of Oblivion. Bar swap. It's just right down the line. It's nothing you wouldn't typically see from me. It's just going to be 1, 2, and then 3 Wrecking Blows and bar swap. And that's pretty much the rotation. What I've actually found is whenever you go through the first set of this rotation, you want to drop this, go all the way through it. By the time you actually finish your first 3 spambles and you get back, if you go through your whole line of skills, you're going to want to set Rearming Trap back down. But every rotation after that, you're going to be able to set up rearming trap every second rotation. So you see what I'm talking about here. I've got 10 seconds left, so that's going to give me the full duration on my front bar, and then when I get to my back bar, I reapply it. Just keep in mind, it's going to be absolutely best for you whenever you do switch to your back bar to get poison injection off first, so that you get that extra weapon damage. So that's that rotation. If we were to switch to our sheer Venom set, which if we get out of combat, I'll try to do so. There we go. Okay. Alright, so with Venom, what we want to do is actually take advantage of this really cool bonus that it offers, which is that it does a 15k dot over 6 seconds. Once again, I shouldn't have to explain it, but 15k damage happening in 6 seconds is a very, very quick amount of damage. So in many cases, you actually will probably get more burst out of this particular setup. But in the long run, Viper, if you're in longer fights, Viper is going to probably perform better. But regardless, our rotation is going to be pretty much identical on the back bar. So 5, 3, 1, 2, 4. When we get to our front bar, it's basically the same. 1, 2, and we actually want to use our execute so that we apply that really, really nice 15k poison damage over 6 seconds. Because you don't actually have to do it when the enemy is in execute. You get that 15k dot no matter whenever you activate it. So you can see here, there's the effect underneath the target dummy's health. After you do your breath, claw, execute, it's the same thing, just 3 sweeps. Bar swap and start over. And that's it. Both of these sets pull really, really well. I'm actually going to show you, I'll go ahead and show you one parse with Viper so you can see what I'm talking about. And then I'll actually show you some numbers and some champion points. So let's get our Viper re-equipped. There we go. Alright. Potion, trap, injection, ultimate, and we're off. Okay, so that's actually a little bit lower than what I've been pulling with this set, but let's go ahead and talk about numbers. Yeah, so as you can see, I just pulled 41.8, so roughly 42k. The highest I've actually hit with this particular setup is this right here, 46.3, which is obviously on a 3 million dummy. That is absolutely disgustingly high. This right here, this 42, is another parse with Viper. These 40s here that you'll see, those are actually with sheer Venom. So they do pull a decent amount lower. But the fact that this, on my absolute best rotation, is hitting up to 46k, that's pretty disgusting, guys. And obviously these are not very difficult sets to get. I mean, Viper comes from what is it, Fungal Grotto, something like that. You get this from Cyrodiil. Velidreth is probably the hardest thing to get out of here, and let's be honest, Velidreth, if you've played for any amount of time, the Cradle of Shadows is not very difficult. If you're brand new, yeah, it's going to be hard to get that, but this gear is very easy to get, so it's also beginner friendly in terms of gearing up for this. It's pulling absolutely insane numbers. It's just beautiful. Let's go ahead and hop into champion points, shall we? In the ritual, we got 56 into mighty, 42 into piercing, 56 into precise strikes, 56 into thaumaturge. Over here, in the Atronach, we've got 40 into Master at Arms, 20 into Physical Expert, and obviously nothing in the Apprentice. 40 Shadow Ward, 40 Tumbling. This is obviously all optional for you guys. The main tree you really need to worry about are the blue ones, but if you want, I'll just show you what I got here. 100 into Mooncalf, 37 Tenacity, 37 Warlord, 16 Sprinter. Nothing in the Lord. 50, 50, 50, like I usually do. Hardy Elemental Defender, Thick-Skinned. 45 into Spell Shield, and 75 into Ironclad. So there's the CP. But yeah, give this a try, guys. It is absolutely disgusting how powerful it is. So hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to leave a like and comment. Tell me what you think, and I will be sure to see you in my next video. Peace out.